Welcome to the Ace Podcast, where we talk all things art, culture, and entertainment, but more specifically, pop culture entertainment. I'm your host, Will the Greatest, and with me today, I have a colossal clusterfuck, a set of fiendish friends with me today. Who wants to interview? I'll intro you. We have Aaron.
What's up, y'all? It's back. We're back in action. Looney Tunes, Space Jam is a national treasure. Thank you very much.
I want to interview
And-
next.
We also have Luke A. DeVier.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm sorry. I ruined everything.
You okay?
I ruined everything. Hi, my name's Luke. How's
It sounded
everyone
like Krusty there. Hey.
All right.
And,
Yeah, I'm okay.
And in the background laughing, we also have Nick. Do you want to say hi, Nick, or are you actually going to get food?
No, I'm leaving now. So,
Okay.
yep.
Everyone say bye to Nicholas.
Bye.
Disappears into the void.
Farewell to our forefathers.
Farewell to our former podcast editor. How are we doing this fine, now not Wednesday evening? How are we doing, fellas? Because I myself tad tired, but keeping at it, doing what it does, staying busy, excited for my vacation this weekend to go out of town and do hood rat shit with my friends. How about y'all? How are you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing good. I've been working a lot lately. The Spider-Man trailer just came out, and I've been rewatching all the Spider-Man movies with my sister, and I'm finding some new soft spots for the Raimi trilogy. Like, for my opinions have gone back and forth for like a while. Like, I need to update some of my opinions on some things. I don't love them, but I definitely appreciate their what they did for the culture, for the comic book culture. and yeah, that's been my week. How you doing, Luke?
How are you, Luke?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm chilling right now, just up in Colorado. We moved up here. We're settling in pretty well. I'm gonna become a Colorado guy pretty soon, so that means
Nice.
that I'm gonna be getting some Jesus sandals. That means my hair is gonna get a lot longer. I'm gonna be prone to drawing it up in a bun, and that's just gonna be who I am. And you guys are gonna
Are
complain.
you going to be
about it.
eating your green vegetables, sir?
I'm gonna be eating my green vegetables. I'm gonna be going totally vegan. We're gonna be doing.
Oh yeah, that those vegetables, right? That's what I meant.
Yeah, those vegetables. Yeah. We're gonna be specifying non-gluten. We're gonna be. We're gonna make life pretty miserable at the dinner table for everybody when we go out, but that's just who we are, and you just gotta kind of deal with it. Like, you can have a problem with it, and that's just who I fucking am. All right. So you just need to fucking check yourself. Also, I've been watching Black Dynamite again, and I'm reminded Black Dynamite was amazing.
The movie or the show?
Dynamite.
They're both fantastic.
They're both great. Yeah.
Black Dynamite was a movie that was so funny. I in the middle of it, I paused it and didn't watch it for like 2 years, and then went back and continued to laugh. Like, it was that funny. It was so funny. I had to take a break for years. It's like okay, I got to come back to this in the future.
I'm announcing war on anyone that's serving drugs in the black community. But
Black Dynamite, I sold drugs to the community. Fucking love Dennis Yarbo.
I want Michael J. White in the MCU. That's the only thing that'll bring me back.
Who would you like him as?
Honestly, I wanted him as Shang-Chi.
Bruh. Oh, I'm doing fucking stitches. Michael J. White is Shang-Chi. Your days are over, Mandarin. I'm gonna fling the 10 rings from the gap between my teeth.
I threw that shit for fucking God.
He. I threw that shit before I walked in the room.
How old is Michael Jai White? Oh, he's 56. Damn.
Yeah,
he's old.
Late 40s. I think. Yeah, his mid 50s. He got like 6 kids too.
Yeah, he doesn't got to do that much. He's just gotta stand in there.
No,
I was
I'm
like,
thinking
you know
about.
what? I think he could have been a good Luke Cage at some point in time.
He still can.
He's
looks great.
56 though. He looks
So
great.
who
But how
gives
long
a
did he play
shit?
him? That's fair.
Who cares? Who
Yeah.
would care? I mean, I don't know how many black people got left in the MCU.
How many?
How many are left to cast? Because my numbers are getting small
Yeah,
of who I could play till we start race swapping people.
Yeah, you're sweating You're sweating bullets. It's like you're running out of fingers to count.
I mean, yeah, that's what it is. The only one left I can think of is like Patriot. Well, no, because they cast him. Never mind.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Let's say
that one's out.
Patriot
God damn it.
exists.
I already did the Runaways.
Bishop.
I already did Cloak and Dagger.
You can make him
do Bishop.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that's right. There are black X-Men. All 2 of them.
We still ain't got a Miles yet.
Unless you, nigga, they won't let me play Miles. I'm too old. I would love to play Miles. I could definitely play Miles opposite Tom Holland. We're about the same height, but like,
Ooh,
if I shave, I absolutely look like a teenager. But,
bruh, speaking of Spider-Man, so I work at an unnamed hotel at this point in time, and there's a lady whose mom was staying at the hotel, and I have a Spider-Man COVID mask. I have a Miles Morales COVID mask, and she was like, "Nice." She's like, "Nice mask," and I was like, "Thank you." And she was like, "You're gonna love the movie." I was like, "Her?" I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "I work on the costumes in the movie. Like, I work on them out here, and then they shoot in Atlanta."
Oh,
and I was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "So, how are Toby and Andrew suits? Are they good?" And she was like, I can't say that. I can't confirm or deny." But she's like, "But there are Spider-Man in the Spider-Man movie." And I was like, "Oh."
That NDA shut you up quick.
Right.
You felt that red dot of Kevin breathing down her neck, talking about some. Remember how much you got paid for this one, Susan? Keep your lips shut, bitch.
Fucking Kevin morphs from the shadows.
she just turns and she just sees him walk by with a hat. He just tips his hat and walks away like it's you.
He said,
he's like Joe Goldberg.
He says, "I am the writing on the wall, the bee." Fuck, what did he say?
I was like Spawn for a second. I was
but I think
that's supposed to be Joe Goldberg.
I was trying to
it's a reference to Candyman. Which takes us into our first topic, us discussing Candyman while I defend it for the next 30 minutes.
You don't understand.
You don't understand.
I've listened to several reviews, and oddly enough, of all of them, I think Dead Meat is probably the closest to kind of, I think, picking up on a lot of the things that I picked up from the movie. It's interesting because it's like 2 white people.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of people. Like, a lot of people are really back and forth on this.
Yeah. So let's, full spoilers ahead for Candyman 2021. Here's the thing. I'm of 2 minds about it. My critical lens and my personal lens are separated because I can recognize that the movie does have a few weaknesses. It has a few flaws in it. However, my emotional response to the movie was so jarring and overwhelming that I came out loving it. Even from like the beginning sequence. I think it starts really, really strong, honestly.
Yeah. I would say
with William Burke. Doing the laundry and taking it up. And so the shot I had mentioned to you guys when I had left the theater as being potentially one of my favorite new shots that I've ever seen in film. I don't know what it is, but like that weird, when they do the opening credits, which I think it's supposed to parallel the original where it was like a city shot. But this one,
yeah.
the one of the buildings where it's like you couldn't tell whether the fog was going up or down.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really tell if it was the skies above or the streets below, of like the different parts of Chicago and what used to be Cabrini Greens and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for a good rotation shot, but I don't know what it was, but I fucking loved, and they used it quite a fair amount in the movie, for like transitions and whatnot. I don't know how they did this. I don't even know how they remade Cabrini Greens for the opening, but you know, we got William Burke doing his laundry, low income neighborhood. A nigga comes out of a wall. This is the only way I can describe it.
Yeah.
And then the movie starts.
Yeah, with candy in his hand and a hook on the right. So William Burke screens and then opening credits, and we get Candyman, and the movie kind of goes from there. Well, we can get into likes and dislikes really about the film. Things I liked. Casting is good. Score is solid. Effects are solid. There's a fair amount of kills. It has more kills, I think, than the first movie does. They're just and then oh god, the cinematography in this movie is amazing. I don't know why people aren't talking about it. It's a beautiful fucking movie. Like shot composition, color composition. I personally really like the thematic elements of this movie, but I can also kind of understand to an extent why it's so. What makes this film kind of difficult is just about every one of its themes is kind of intersectional to an extent.
Right.
And that's a really hard ground to straddle, because you're not really dealing with one simple thing. You're dealing with a lot of elements that kind of interweave with one another. So like, oh, it's not just a black woman dealing with racism as artist. It's like, no, it's like specifically this type of black woman with this type of informed experience from her relationship also to black men, and how those three, and like her own experiences with trauma and how all of that intersects. Or for like Anthony, how like, you know, his separation from his own childhood, and then him being like this bougie ass upper crust artist, but like forgetting his roots, kind of inform is almost absent-mindedness and separation from his culture, and then how he tries to end up being a leech off it, while also potentially being like a victim and succumbing to a lot of the same issues that plagued it. This movie has a lot of themes related to like legacy and cycles, hence, you know, part of one of the main sequences being set in a damn laundromat. It's literal cycles, which when I had that pointed out, I'm like, oh god, I'm fucking stupid. That's like obvious film language. But I think overall that's good. Does it have weaknesses? Yeah. I think if I had to like make a change, Burke and Anthony should have been combined, basically. They should have kind of combined their arcs, I think, too. And nothing against because it's homeboy from Euphoria. What's his name? He has a cool ass name too, because his voice. Oh, God,
I feel like his twist came out of nowhere. I was like,
I agree.
He was like the guy informing him. I was like, what? Where did this come from? Okay.
No, and when I heard that complaint, I'm like, no, that's a fair point. Like that's a fair. Like it didn't bother me, but it is a very strong argument of an issue with the movie, is that like his twist comes out of nowhere. And when I thought about it, I'm like, oh, what they should have done is probably had Anthony, like had it be Anthony that this all occurred with initially. So that would have like strengthened he already had a connection to Candyman, but I think that would have also made the connection deeper. If it was like 1997 instead of 77.
If Burke wasn't real, like if it was just a figment of his imagination, or like it was just one of the Candymans.
Yeah.
Like I think that could have like tied it in.
Yeah, there's a lot of like interest like in the separation between like the last act and the rest of the movie. It's like those separately, I think for other people, again, didn't really bother me, but I think for everybody else separately, those would have been great things for like different Candyman movies. I do think introducing the concept of multiple Candymen is actually great. I think that's really cool, and it can easily tie as kind of a retcon into the lore. That's not hard. I think the difficulty that runs into, particularly with Anthony, is how he becomes a Candyman. It's kind of through a self-fulfilling prophecy almost, about like having these almost avatars of Candyman that are more so victims of clearly victims of racism and white supremacist brutality. But it's like at the same time, Anthony from jump, like had Anthony never gone back, none of this probably, like the sequence of events, there's kind of like plot conveniences in a sense, which it's suspension of disbelief. It's a fucking movie, but it's like certain things kind of have to line up. But what were you gonna say, Luke?
Well,
I want to get y'all's thoughts on it because I've been talking a lot about it.
I'm only gonna say this, and then I'll just for Aaron's thoughts on it, because I don't think I've heard Aaron's like condensed like thoughts like all in one go. But
Right.
I think what bothers me a little bit about the end is, and I can probably talk about it in more detail whenever we get to it. So I'll just say this: the end with like Anthony becoming Candyman feels like a different draft by a different writer. And it was when I kind of realized that this movie had 3 writers, a lot of things started to make sense about what bugged me about the movie. And that was kind of one of them. But Aaron, because I actually am kind of interested in your perspective.
Yeah. I'm interested in both of y'all's too. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
So for context, I've never seen any of the other Candyman movies. I went into this.
You only need the first one because that's the only one it's connected to. It's not
honestly,
connected.
They tell the story pretty much in this movie.
Yeah, they do.
They tell it in flashbacks. I would like to witness those events, but yeah,
God,
they do
the flashbacks. Sorry, the fucking paper cutouts too. It's another brilliant thing. But go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
No, it was very cool. I think the movie was shot very well. I really dig the camera work, especially the long shots or like the one take shots. I think that was my favorite thing about the movie was the creative ways in which they used Candyman as this force of terror. Like you would only see his reflection, then you would watch these people get killed seemingly out of nowhere, and then the way that they would play with like hiding him in like certain views. Like sometimes like you couldn't even see him totally clearly. Like you'd be like in like a window and you'd be able to see him, but like they don't focus on it, which kept me always on my toes in the scenes that people were gonna get murdered in. I think for me where the movie falls short is some of the writing with the characters. I feel like Anthony is a very thinly written character. I can't tell you what his personality is, like what does he find funny? What is he afraid of? Other than art, what brings him joy? And I think some of the stuff with the girlfriend didn't add to the story when it definitely could have. Like for them showing the father commit suicide. I feel like that is something that should have played into her character more, whether it be hints throughout the story or before the reveal, or even how that event affected her after the reveal. I feel like that was such an interesting thing that I never seen in a movie, a girl watching her father get killed. And I don't think that they played enough with that. I felt that here's the thing. Some of the social commentary worked for me and other parts didn't. Like all the stuff where they're like explaining Candyman's backstory and like the first Candyman, that stuff was cool. I thought like the commentary on the artist trying to represent his community while also being in a place outside of that community. I thought that was a very interesting kind of commentary, because I don't think I've seen a black story about an artist from that perspective before. But however, certain scenes just kind of bugged me, like when they show the second half of the flashback and like the swarm of police officers come for Candyman. I was just like, damn, really? Like that's like I get it, like police are excessive and like these excessive force and whatnot, but I'm like, this man didn't kill anybody, and it was like it's like a SWAT team. Like they're treating this man like he has a bomb. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. Like all 50 of these cops are gonna go beat this one man up. Like there's simply not enough room on this man's body.
No, because that's actually pretty believable. Because Rodney King happened after.
But it wasn't like 50 cops though. It was like, what was it, like 5 or 6 cops for Rodney King?
I mean, it was like 8 cops that ran up the steps, and they also believe that he was the one going around putting razor blade in candy. So it's like a white girl's been threatened, beat his ass, and so they did.
But he's also one dude. He's also one dude. I don't know.
Rodney King was one dude.
I feel like part of it was to kind of like sell. I think
it was the horror of white people. I get that.
Right. It was a lot of cops, and I think it was meant to kind of like emphasize the horror of that moment. But I do agree with you because I watched it like twice and on repeat that it was kind of a lot of cops, and it seemed a little cartoonish. Not to say like the incident is cartoonish, but like there was a lot of cops.
It's like, I mean, over policing is
it was like the whole police department. Yeah.
I don't. I mean, it felt like the whole precinct was there, and I'm like, that feels excessive. Like, obviously, cops can be excessive, you know, but I felt like it took me out of the moment because I felt like if it was presented in a different way, where cops did wind up coming and killing Candyman, I would have been like, oh shoot. But the fact that it was presented where like the swarm of evil white cops are coming down to this basement to get this guy who's putting razor blades in candy. I was just like, that the yes, cops are excessive, but I feel like the punishment didn't seem comparable to the crime that was being committed. Like he wasn't a serial killer. He was just yeah, I get that's the point, but like if it was like a few cops, sure, but the whole precinct, it just, I don't know, it didn't seem believable to me.
It seems, I think, realistic enough to me, just because it's like it's happened, because it was, and like, yeah, it was too many cops, but I think that's kind of the point. Is like, why would you need that many cops? He was already a suspect too, because they like showed that from the beginning, so they're they were already looking for him, and now they just kind of basically had a reason. It's like, oh, okay. Basically confirmed this is the guy that we're pretty much looking for, you know. We're not going to actually do our jobs. We're just going to beat this man to death because he's a perceived menace to society, and he was innocent.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Right. Also, a part that I guess it can more confuse me than like for the moment it didn't make sense to me, and maybe I need to rewatch it. But like, were the cops coming at the end, and she's thinking she's about to get shot, but what was it, Anthony who actually got shot? I think that didn't make sense to me because he was already dead. So it's just like, whoa, what? Like, how did he end up from there to there? I don't know. It just seemed...
I did hear about that one. Apparently that might be an editing error. But that's
that felt weird to me. I was like,
that's a fair point. He like
moved
between shots.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking when I saw it the first time.
Yeah, I didn't notice it, but
in his arm.
Pointed it out.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, she's in her arms, and then she was in front of him. I was like, but she didn't move. So I'm like, are they trying to say that he protected her? Because it didn't seem like that was the implication of that scene.
Right.
Or who was being shot at?
I think that one's just a fuck up. I can't defend that. I think that's
but it's like a big one though.
Yeah, it's a pretty big. It's a pretty.
But I think this makes sense because they were both dead. Who were they shooting at? If it wasn't her, if they're both if both Burke and Anthony were on the ground, who are they shooting at?
I
double
think
tapping.
I think Anthony was supposed to be alive, but they kind of messed up the order of some footage.
Yeah, which I think that was something that we all agreed on, is that there has to be a director's cut of this. I'm thinking because the movie was supposed to come out a year ago, I'm pretty sure. So I think they sat on it and cut it up more from what it initially was, because there had to be more to Brianna's story. Like her story went nowhere. And I like the acting for her, and she's a very, very like rational character throughout the movie. Yeah, like I can say that much. But
also thought the brother and the brother's boyfriend felt very removed from the rest of the story, outside of the fact that
they were comic relief.
Told them about the. Yeah, I think even with comic relief though, they got to play some semblance of role in the story. Like even if I feel like if they'd even killed those characters, it would have been sad. I think that would have made me care. But I feel like I watched the movie and it felt like it wanted to be a horror movie with a message that also wanted you to care about the characters. Because I feel like with
Mm.
Look, like say a horror movies like Us or horror movies like Get Out.
Yeah.
I feel like I care about those characters as I'm watching it, even though
Yeah,
I mean, I guess those are more like psychological thrillers than horror movies. But still, I feel like
Same,
they wanted
similar
you to
vein.
care.
Similar.
Yeah, but I feel like I never really cared because I don't feel like the movie did the work to make me care. They just threw us into the events of how they were affecting these people without giving us a clear image of who these people were before the events started.
yeah, and I think
I
that's
think
kind
that's a
of
valid criticism.
well, I think that's where like the script writer problems come in because
Mm,
there's like three different things that are going on, right? There is
mm,
a story that's talking about a lot of, like you said, intertextuality things like the gentrification of this area, exploitation of like black pain into art and all that stuff.
yeah.
Um, then there is the horror script, which is trying to put scares into it.
Hmm.
And then there is the I don't even know what the next thing would be. Like, I guess a Candyman movie because
Yeah, like making it also tied into like the lore and legacy of Candyman while making it
yeah.
horror, while
So
also
it
tying into like the thematic elements of what you want to say and also what the original said.
yeah, and I think that's kind of my problem with the movie is like it definitely feels like three people wrote this, and it definitely feels like three
Mm,
different perspectives on what the movie should be.
mm.
I don't know who can be accredited to who, but
I mean, you just gotta give it to all three of them
yeah,
at that point.
I'm just saying like as I just kind of thought on it the second time I watched it, I was really just thinking to myself, like, there's a lot of things that are happening right now that don't really make a lot of sense. And also,
Mhm.
part of it is like, I don't know what the plot is. What is the plot? Like, there are
Anthony
moments.
wants to be famous,
Well, yeah,
I
Anthony
guess.
wants. So it's literally, the movie is literally can be broken down as to Anthony has encounters with Candyman. And then all of a sudden, in the last 30 minutes, there's a dude that wants to make him into the next Candyman. And like, that's the plot. And it
Which,
was like,
yeah, and I guess that was the full ulterior motive for Irk, but it's not telegraphed particularly well, like something else that we'll talk about later. It's not really well. Uh, I mean, you can have something sudden happen, but if anything, this is like a 180 heel, which it didn't take
Mm.
me out of the movie, but when people bring it up, I'm like, no, that's a very fair point that as far as criticisms go, that it's just like character wise inconsistent. That he's just really been, for all intents and purposes, like this griot, the storyteller, who like is a lore keeper for Cabrini Greens, like one of the last people living around that area who was a native to it. And that is kind of a connection for him, and should have been a better connection for him and Anthony, because Anthony was from Cabrini but didn't know.
yeah,
And so it's
I,
like
I felt
that.
like the
That's
message of what the movie was trying to say was muddled, in my opinion.
'cause
I
it had
think
a,
that
and like I said, it was intersectional, so it had a lot, and it kind of, rather than weaving together well, I think for a lot of people it kind of knotted up along the way.
mm. And I think the worst part is that these are like really not really that specifically talked
hello.
about problem. What's up?
Yeah, Aaron, can we hear?
Sorry, guys. Hold
You
Oh,
hear us?
on. Hello.
shit.
Sorry. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, Luke, what were you saying?
Oh,
Shout out the
well,
problems.
no, I was just saying like it's fucked up because a lot of these problems are like things that aren't really specifically talked about. And I think the
Mhm.
movie even goes out of its way to kind of almost mock anything that's like not talking about like these specific issues like gentrification, like exploitation of like cultures and communities by people that are
Mhm.
like not present. And the
Right.
problem is like these are all really good conversations to have, but by the end, kind of like what Aaron said, there's so much that it's talking about that we don't really get to have a meaningful discussion on either because
Mhm.
with the gentrification part, I don't know if it was just a me problem. I'm curious how y'all thought about it. I thought it was really weird how the characters just started talking about it like in very like
Layman's
it
context.
didn't they didn't feel like they were actual people bringing up this idea up. It felt like they were reading off of like a script of what to say rather than it being like actual people delivering this stuff. And
Mm.
I don't know, it just felt weird because like they mentioned it and then there's further conversations like the boyfriend brings this up of Troy where they were talking about, white people were starting to move into this neighborhood and they were starting to like, push out its former residents. And I think the boyfriend said, "Y'all live here, right?"
Yeah.
And it was a thing that I was like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting that they're also tackling something like that." And then they don't really discuss it because I feel like there's so much going on. They don't have the time to go in depth with any one message.
Mm.
Which isn't to say that these aren't important like things to talk about. They definitely are. It just feels
There's-
like by the end, with how the movie
mm,
kind of rushes itself, that it doesn't get to have really close conversations about them.
mm.
Because when they're even talking about the gentrification part, like I think part of it is the point, but there's not really like I feel like we should have spent more time in past Cabrini Green as well to sell that idea.
I think that that's fair because one of the complaints I've seen is because in the original Candyman, Chicago is also a character all on its own.
Yeah, and I don't even
And
think they shot that many Chicago scenes in this one.
and I think that's what people are kind of saying is like the character of Chicago is a little bit lost, which you could interpret that as potentially a message like the spirit of the city has kind of like died with this historical area that's also been neglected, or
Yeah.
you could just chalk it up to a negligent aspect of the writing. You could really be of two minds about it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think you make a fair point with that, especially bringing up like you know because that's another one I've heard about, like the dialogue specifically in the conversations of gentrification. Like again, I'm coming from a place of bias because I'll have those conversations because my city where I live in is currently gentrified, so I'll talk like that
Mhm.
with my friends. But the people I hang out with would also probably be more similar to the crowd of people that you might see in this movie versus the average Joe. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the thing is that the people like the way in which people communicate, it's not so much like and like I had when one of my buddies was asking me about the movie today, I was talking about like I mean we both know what it's like because our town's currently being gentrified right now, and just like I've had conversations literally about it's like man that's so weird seeing all these white people walking up and down my street past the old dens where they used to like sell crack and watermelons and shit. That's not a stereotype. They literally used to sell watermelons like a street away from me. They don't anymore. All those homes got like foreclosed and burned down and replaced with townhouses. So
Mhm.
like, but again, those are conversations I would have because culturally I've navigated the spaces that characters like this have had. The average person probably hasn't. So it's like I think that's kind of a barrier where you can end up excluding the audience from that conversation because it's like, boy, that seems weird the way that they're like flagrantly and blatantly kind of discussing it too. So I can understand like where you're coming from on that because yeah, it does seem weird, but I guess to an extent that could also be an area of insight. But yeah, it is a weird way to kind of talk about things outside of like those realms, outside of the realms of like art or academia or whatever the fuck, like these hoity-toity, bougie ass conversation types.
Hmm.
But I do think, like, I think that's a good point though. That, like the dialogue, if you're, specifically for the context, if we're talking about like gentrification, it should be accessible to the people that it's probably trying to speak for, rather than like the people speaking of it. If that
Mm.
makes sense.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like the people that are experiencing the gentrification want to be like, thank you, finally somebody's saying it, versus Oh, is that how they talk about the situation?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been. I feel like if there was a character that was still in it, who wasn't outside the gentrification and wanted to talk about it, gentrification,
Mhm.
someone who was actually actively there, like maybe if like Anthony's cousin, or like if they'd shown Anthony as a struggling from the hood or whatever, and
Yeah.
then he met this girl, and then trying to show from that perspective, okay, but they didn't do that. They wanted to. I was like, are they trying to say a point about how these specific people can talk about it, or are they trying to say like the hypocrisy of them because they are removed from it, wanting to address it like they're still in it?
Right, yeah.
I kind of took it from the hypocritical lens, particularly with Anthony. And this almost like, I don't know if maybe you can kind of understand, Aaron, like the type of there's something I saw the other day. It was a quote on social media. It was saying something. It's like, I don't like the behavior that I don't like the way that rich black people treat poor black people. So kind of like you're above or you're beyond or you're superior or better than, like this. So it's almost like this hypocritical superiority complex developed just because you're in a better position than a lot of other people. And I think
Right.
if in the lens I took it at is kind of from the Hippocratic one, specifically because Anthony comes from Cabrini Greens. Like he literally was born in low income housing, and for him to return and literally have forgotten his roots. He
Yeah,
was
it
a
would
baby
feel.
when it happened. It would have probably hit a little harder had he lived there longer and then was just a dick. Like after, like he's like, yeah, fuck the old Cabrini Greens. It's, so
Right.
it would have. Go ahead.
I feel like a parallel could have been like, it's not the exact same, but if Jaden and Willow Smith started talking about like the black struggle, and like, or super Black Lives Matter, it's like, nigga, you never seen a dollar in your life. You've never seen a
your house has 16 rooms.
16 rooms and 4 roofs. Like,
dude, Jaden Smith for Static Shock.
No. Sad on that.
Dude, they said this film was anti-white film.
It's anti-white supremacy. That's for sure.
I mean, I don't think it's anti-white, but like everybody who got killed except for one black girl off screen was white.
I mean, that happened in the original. There was one black woman that died in the original, and everybody else was white.
Why is there so much politics in my horror movies?
Because it's a politically based horror film.
Yeah.
Dude, why is this not scary? This movie's not
scary. The original's not really scary.
I didn't think it was scary. I thought it was really fun. I really enjoyed watching those people get killed. I thought it was.
They could have actually done more. That's probably one of my criticisms. They could have shown more of the. I think they're interesting kills. And that one Asian girl in the bathroom was very smart. she said, "Not today." Soon as the windows open.
I think my favorite shot in the movie was. Well, there's two. One, it was the shot as it was pulling out as you see Candyman killing the girl across.
Yeah, that was a good one.
The thing, and the other one was that one take shot of the hand mirror as you're watching Candyman kill the teenage girls.
Yeah,
do that one thing. I thought that was very cool.
I did like that. Which I feel like there was something. I felt like there was something going on talking about the way that the girls were bullying like the alternative black girl that went to the bathroom, who very much was saved. This is like, fuck y'all. It was like, I'm like, keep that door locked, sis. Don't open that shit.
I was like, them. Are they
let them die?
Like, why they were doing what they're doing? I'm like, are they bullying her because she's a freak? Are they bullying her because she's different? Because she's black?
They're bullying her because she like couldn't hold her liquor at a party. That was specifically what they were saying in the dialogue. I think that's what it was. Okay. But it didn't help that she also looked different because she had like colored dreads.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like, so it's actually kind of weird watching this. Part of me doesn't know if it would have made the movie better, but part of me was kind of missing like, man, I miss like when the old movie like Candyman, once he shows up, he's like a presence. Like he will
Yeah.
he will say creepy shit. He will just kind of be floating around. It was almost a shame because like I was watching the movie and I don't think Sherman ever really said anything. So it almost
He
made me feel
mostly
kind of
moaned.
it
Well,
made me kind of it
I
just made me
think
kind of
Sherman
bummed
was also
out.
implied to have a disability.
Do you think so?
The way I kind of, and from like other reviews I've listened to, I think that was the implication because like he didn't really talk. He was a grown man that walked around in Chicago wearing a furry coat, and was giving candies to children and smile. Like I don't think he was 100%
Definitely had a
present.
disability. He had a claw for a hand,
Yeah.
so he's
He's
disabled.
like,
I
hey,
mean, I mean a
Can't
mental
drive a
disability,
vehicular.
but yes, a physical one as well, Eric.
he's like, hey kid, I got cereal on with Batman on it.
So
So
like, you know,
This man can
I
never
think
ride a
he,
bike ever.
well, yeah.
God damn, that's cold, man.
Dude, what happened to that Candyman versus Leprechaun film they were developing?
Sounds like the worst thing ever. That
I'm
sounds
so
anti-black. I don't like that.
Okay, can you guys explain something to me? Because I never saw the original one. What was up with the bees? What's the whole thing with the
The
bees?
bees.
So they explain the story of Daniel Robitaille in it, but essentially Daniel Robitaille is the first Candyman. He fell in love with a white woman, white
Oh,
people
yes,
back in the
yes.
18th. Yes, the whole story of Daniel Robitaille when
And they put the
got
wax
the honey.
on him and the bees, right?
Yeah, they
Right,
slathered them with the
yeah.
honey and gathered the angry honeycomb. So that's the bees. Yeah.
But they never explained it before that point. Because I know the bees has been a thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
bees. Well,
Or
yeah, but the Candyman has always been, you know, Daniel Robitaille up until this movie. That's Tony Todd.
so that same story they explained in this new one, they explained in the original one as well.
Yeah.
Yes. But they literally,
Okay.
it's literally an exposition dump too. It's at a dinner sequence, and there's no flashback. They do the flashback, I think, in the second or third one.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's a hoity-toity uppity college professor to be like, well, do you know the story of the original Candyman?
He goes,
Well,
"Oh, do you know?"
yeah, he was an artist named Daniel Robitaille. Fell in love with a white woman. He was a Negro, of course.
He didn't say.
Yeah, it was like one of the. It's like a 5-minute story too. When you go through these like,
Oh shit!
yes, so unfortunate.
They should have had Nicolas Cage as the Candyman, who's the bees.
Damn, you're right.
I mean,
But,
maybe if they did the Clive Barker version, which that's the interesting thing about the original Candyman. It actually wasn't a tale about race. Evidently, it was about class. But when they brought Tony Todd on, he brought up the entire. He kind of made the backstory of the whole like black guy that fell in love with a white woman and got tortured and killed and had bees thrown on him. So that's not from Clive, which also that's another thing. The art curator Clive, the chubby white dude that got killed and got his ankle slashed. So he's named after Clive Barker, the guy that created the story that inspired Candyman.
Dude, that guy sucked. Fuck that guy.
Oh, he was such a dick. But I'm like, well, he's in art, so he's probably an ass.
I heard Tony Todd turned this movie down because he thought it was too woke.
Well, he's in the
He was
movie.
in it.
He's in the movie.
No, they CG'd him though. Like he wasn't actually in it.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
was.
He has a line. He speaks.
No, they cut him out. They CG'd that in, like Shrek.
Okay. Anyway.
Moving on.
Yeah, Candyman was cool. I had problems
Probably
with it.
could use another draft. I want to know if there. I hope there's a DaCosta cut.
The DaCosta cut.
Yeah.
How do you make that one word?
DaCosta cut.
The cut. There you go. But
Um,
yeah, I would want to see if there was like more stuff in it because again, really weird that it's only like an hour and a half movie.
yeah.
And it really feels like it could have used a little bit more time with like some of the characters just to make it like more cohesive almost because there's a lot of things that are going on and it's hard to keep track sometimes, especially at the end when dudes are sucking on lollipops.
Sucking on what?
Lollipops.
Oh god.
Sucking on.
Oh god. Wait. Yeah. That was a bit of a funny moment. It's like, Candyman is real.
I
Yeah. pulled out 2 lollipops in a
Dude,
claw.
I really like Coleman Domingo. I really like Coleman Domingo, and that was
I fucking
really,
love Coleman Domingo. He's fantastic in this movie.
that was a real bummer to watch him doing that.
I enjoyed it. I didn't think the scene was smart. I thought it was pretty dumb, but I enjoyed his performance every second of the way.
he's selling.
Everybody's
he's
acting in the movie is great, honestly, especially from the leads.
Yeah, he's selling the fuck out of it, but like it's just
He was.
I was just like, really, this is what? Okay, all right.
So I would also like to imagine that like no one missed the whole "say my name" thing. Oh, it's
Oh,
like
Right,
a double entendre. I'm like, I hope people get that. It's very, very obvious.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the first things I thought of. But,
I mean, the first trailer had like it was Jordan Peele. I'm like, oh yeah, Jordan must have did this one because it was a slowed down, spooky version of "Say My Name" by Destiny's Child. I'm like, God damn it, Jordan, stop fucking with all the fun music.
yeah, but
Um,
I mean,
and,
I guess before we move on, do you think there's gonna be a sequel? I mean, it was the #1 movie in America.
True. Oh yeah, congrats to Nia DaCosta for being the first black female horror director to ever have like a #1 box office opener. So
Yeah,
congrats to
that's
her.
pretty-
I honestly, when I walked out of the theater, I'm like, I don't really want a sequel. The only thing I could see them maybe doing is like, I mean, there's room for sequels going off the way they kind of retconned now the notion of Candyman.
The Hive.
Like you could in theory do prequels that go into more detail. Like, you know what's really interesting? That kid Candyman.
Yeah, so it honestly
That
would have
one's
been
wild.
it would have been cool if like they actually showed like the different Candymen throughout the movie, right? And like it would have been cool
They
if
only
like
show him at the end for like
yeah,
the reflection.
but like imagine being how confused you would have been like if you had saw Sherman a couple times and then like
Mhm.
someone else does it and it's a different person and you're like, "What? Wait, what the fuck?" And then they start explaining
Yeah.
it. I think that would have been really cool if they had done that.
I'm surprised they didn't have Brianna end up. He didn't, end up doing the "be my victim," like having her almost be, I guess, a Candy Woman, which that would have been another interesting potential area.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, I mean,
combined. I think if they combined Anthony and William Burke's characters, and kind of slid some of the events a little forward, but kind of kept. I think it kind of would have worked. Imagine Anthony kind of almost losing his shit after Cabrini Green's falls, because Cabrini Green wasn't destroyed till like 2011.
yeah,
10 years ago. So it was very much all, and they pushed the events to like 97, because I think the movie's from like 92. Having him take laundry and all that is like kind of realistic from when he's a baby. And they had him be the one that's like slowly losing his mind and be growing detached. And he's the one that wants to like become Candyman to keep the legacy alive. So he goes, you see him like decline from this caring artist. You see how his life kind of parallels Daniel Robitaille as this like struggling artist who like ends up in a fighting against white people, and he takes it to an extreme, and his love kind of has to fight him. It ends up getting swept into it historically. There's also some commentary in there about just like the way in which black women are expected to kind of hold on to black men even when they're like disregarding them, vice versa, or not giving as much commitment. So you could have her kind of almost play the comparison role to Helen, but it's in a different light, where Helen didn't want to go. In this case, Brianna would, and kind of becomes a Candy Woman. Or like you get 2 Candymen at the end of it. Like, I think there's like, it probably needed one more, but then we wouldn't have Coleman Domingo. That's the only thing. That's the only problem. It's like if you get rid of Burke, now you won't have Coleman Domingo.
I think this is unrelated to the Candyman stuff, but I don't know. I was interested in the story of like of him being this artist trying to make it, and she's like supporting him because she's the more successful of the two, and like the whole thing of that. I was like, I wish I would have dove into more of that.
Is that realistic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Does that happen?
I went to
Like there's
Candyman.
and
movie.
Wait,
that's a whole fucking theme in itself about like a black man riding the coattails of a successful black woman and then kind of discarding her once he makes it to the top, but also
They should make a
disregarding
Candyman
her.
into the Candyverse film.
Why? It's all in the same universe. As he
Into
kept the
the
bullshit sequels
Candyverse.
into the Candyverse. He did go to New Orleans, I think, in the third one.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Crawdad.
leaves that town?
Yeah, he leaves Chicago. He
took
goes
a
to LA, I
train.
think, in the second, and then I think New Orleans in the third.
He hopped a train
Why,
like
though?
the 20s.
Because he can't get enough of these fucking white women, bro. See?
That are also his granddaughters, I think. But
I think you're right.
the important thing, Aaron, is you don't need to watch anything after
You
the
don't.
first Candyman.
What about Leprechaun? We should talk about that franchise someday.
I mean, it has its reboots.
No.
I agree with Luke. Sad sigh, no.
Dude, a Leprechaun versus Candyman film would be like the new Soul Plane.
I don't know.
I don't even know where to go with that statement, so we're just gonna move on.
Definitely. 1000%.
I guess we'll just move on. Yeah.
It'd be the
any-
Citizen
any-
Kane of our time.
Any last words on Candyman?
So it's a cool movie. I'm almost sad that Nia DaCosta's been robbed by Marvel now.
Well, I hope she brings. But okay, who's?
Because I don't think she's writing it. I think she's just directing it.
Yeah.
Right, but who's to give credit to the execution? Like, is that the cinematographer that made it look that good, or was it Nia DaCosta's vision of the?
I gotta watch Little Woods, her other movie, her crime thriller that she did with Tessa Thompson. That's what I kind of want to suss out for myself. I mean, granted, the director has to tell him, but the cinematographer has to shoot it. Then again, she is in like the editing room. Megan McDonnell is writing. One of the writers for WandaVision.
Should get Zack Snyder's Candyman.
Oh yeah, Jack.
God no, I do not want to see Zack Snyder touch race.
Zack Schneider.
Jesus Christ, no.
Get that dude that played Cyborg to be the new Candyman, or Zack
Give
Snyder.
Zack Snyder the Punisher movie. Like that'll be
sure.
Oh, give
Why
him
not?
the Dragon Ball Z film.
I don't know anything that the cinematographer has done. Parts per billion, Breathe In. He did Love, Simon.
Wow, I haven't seen Love, Simon.
What the dude that did the cinematography for Love, Simon did this. He's also done 20 episodes of Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job. He's currently working on Cocaine Bears by Elizabeth Banks.
Cocaine Bears.
Yeah, that which now I'm like, all right, what the fuck is that about?
You know what? He did Tim and Eric, you know, and just because he did that, he has my vote. You know why?
Why, Aaron?
You know why?
Why? Free real estate.
Do you guys think we'll ever get another
free house
slasher crossover film like Freddy vs. Jason?
I want them to do Freddy vs. Jason versus Army of Darkness, but I don't know if that did. I mean,
versus Jason versus these hands. Who's gonna win?
Yeah, that's right. These hands and where you can catch them.
Freddy versus Jason in the hood.
Hands.
Yes.
Wait. Yes, I would actually watch that. That sounds fucking funny.
Wait, what movie?
That'd be a comedy.
Directed by Tyler Perry.
Wait, I didn't hear. Oh, Medea versus Freddy versus Jason.
Tyler Perry doesn't even make that many movies in the hood.
No, Luke said
Leprechaun in the Hood versus Medea.
Yes.
Okay. Sure, why not?
Versus Ma.
Versus
no, she died. She literally died in her own movie.
What?
I never saw
Just bring her back. Why'd you spoil?
My bad, Aaron.
That's a spoiler, man.
Oh no, I spoiled a 2-year-old movie that you weren't gonna see.
Was Ma worth watching?
No, it wasn't.
Only for the memes.
Octavia Butler almost chopped Luke Evans' dick off and shoved him with a needle full of dog's blood.
What?
Oh my God.
I gotta see this now.
All right, fuck it. Just spoil the whole. What happened in Ma? That's what I want to know.
All right, quick detour before we get into the Marvel shit. So Ma is about Octavia Butler, who got severely bullied by Luke Evans and a bunch of other annoying white people. During her formative years. So as a result, she ends up like getting really clingy with this friend clique of kids that go to the same high school as her. By the way, Octavia Spencer. Octavia Butler is a fucking writer. Octavia Spencer is a veterinarian, and there's like this little white girl that just moves into the town. She makes her new little friend, her barely multi-ethnic friend group composed of 3 other whites and 1 black guy, because of course there's always one. They start hanging out with like Ma because she buys them alcohol, and she's like, "Well, if you're gonna party, you got to do it at my house where it's safe." And so cool. Then they realize Ma's fucking crazy. And once she knows that one of the kids is also the dude she had a crush on in high school's son, who she was initially planning to suck his dick during a flashback. You see, she was fixing to suck his dick in a closet, but got tricked, sucked off a nerd, which technically that's rape, but we're not going to get into that part. It's like, and then everyone makes fun of her. And so she stays in the town, doesn't move on, and like projects her pain and pettiness onto this new friend group, and then ends up like kidnapping the kids and sort of torturing them in like really hilariously goofy ways. Like one girl gets her lips sewn shut, another girl gets like a collar put on her neck and almost hanged from a ceiling. The hot boy of the friend group gets like an iron put on him while he's passed out, so he has iron burns, like a clothing iron. And then the other boy, who she thought she was like cute and was the main chick's boyfriend, has to like kiss her, and then she shoots him. Yeah. He's like, wait, I'll do anything, just don't hurt them. She's like, oh yeah, take your clothes off, now kiss me. And then she ends up shooting him like in the side. And the best part is, you know what the black boy's punishment is? He paints his face white. And she's like, there's only room for 1 black friend in this group. And that's it. That's all she does. That's all she does.
You've suffered enough, young blood.
Like, lips sewn shut, shot, iron on chest, face painted. There's only room for 1 black friend in this group, honey. Oh, by the way.
Did she say that?
Yeah. Almost verbatim.
Oh, my God.
By the way, whole side thing, she has a daughter that she like keeps crippled with some medication, even though like if she's off it, she's perfectly fine. She's like, but Ma, and she makes her like, she has an electric wheelchair. You see her at the beginning.
It's like, is it like that one story? The one that's based on a real story. That one mom who like sedated her daughter for years, making her think something was wrong with her, but really there's nothing wrong with her.
Oh yeah. I mean that part's like happened. That's happened before, but now it's a black woman.
Okay, that makes it different.
Yeah, so you see her at the beginning when the new girl helps her up some steps because she's in a wheelchair. And then she shows up later and Ma says like, oh my goodness, that's Ma's daughter. We gotta save her, blah, blah, blah. And like all the parents, other bullshit. Like, oh yeah, the main girl has a dog. You see the dog like limping at one point and whining. And because now she's like, oh my God, I think Ma was at my house. And you don't know why till you find out she kidnapped Luke Evans, who was the dude. And like there is a squeamish point where she holds a knife next to his dick and she's like, I should cut your manhood off. And I'm like, ah! I saw this on a date. It was rough.
You actually see it though. Like you see his dick.
It's like barely out of frame. Like I guess if you squint, you can, if you're really that gung ho on seeing the beast from Beauty and what's his name? Not Javert. Gaston's dick from live action Beauty and the Beast, sure. But then she ends up injecting him full of like dog's blood from the dog. So he dies. And so, oh yeah, the movie ends with like the house catches fire in some very stupid way. All the kids escape. The parents save them. The police are too late, and she ends up cuddling next to the recently deceased corpse and dies in the fire with him. She could have escaped. She just chooses not to.
Wait, is Luke Evans the guy she had a crush on in high school?
Yeah.
And she killed him with the dog's blood, and she
essentially gives him a transfusion with dog's blood, and she stays. Here's the thing: she could have gotten away with it. She could have actually escaped, but she chooses not to. She just stays in the fire, cuddles next to his half-naked body, and dies.
What the hell?
What?
Yeah, that's Ma. But you can watch it if you want to. It's really fucking stupid, but it's kind of hilariously stupid.
Ma is
Like,
the definition of down bad.
she's down tremendous, but I mean, to be
Down
fair,
tremendous.
she low-key got raped, but that doesn't excuse the behavior. That doesn't excuse painting a child's face white. Now you've gone too far, Ma.
Come on, Ma. You know that ain't right.
Yeah, like if you want to watch it, you can. It's certainly
you guys
a ride.
Gotta go to that Twitter account, dudes who are down bad.
No, I don't want to be depressed. Other final side note: Cocaine Bear is actually about a bear that did cocaine in the 80s.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Where did Cocaine Bear come from?
It's the movie that the cinematographer from Candyman is working on next. It's an upcoming American thriller directed by by Elizabeth Banks.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
about a
Elizabeth Banks could get it.
About a 170-pound American black bear that died after ingesting a duffel bag full of cocaine.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, he lived by the edge. I mean, some bears like honey, other bears like hard drugs. So.
Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about Marvel. Do you want to talk about
our
Spider-Man
overlord
or What If?
What if? What if? Let's start with What If. Spider-Man's a big boy.
Right.
It's
been 2 weeks, which I think that's probably how we're gonna do this. Just do this every 2 weeks. We got episode 3, which was what if the Avengers got murdered, and then episode 4 is what if Doctor Strange lost his girlfriend, and episode 3 is my least favorite, and episode 4 is probably my second favorite, if not my favorite. So, what did we think? Full spoilers ahead. Episode 3 and 4 of What If? Of what?
Episode 3 was okay. It was an example of a story I feel should have been longer, and I feel like the bones of a good story are there. The execution is not great. I don't think it's terrible, but it definitely feels rushed. I feel like the reveal of Hank could have been a lot more satisfying. I think it could have been like rather than getting it revealed that it was Hank towards the end of it. If we learned halfway through the movie that it's Hank, and then it's kind of like a catch me if you can kind of thing. Like he's killing them while also running from them, and it's a Nick Fury versus Hank Pym. I think that would have been cool.
Yeah, I really just didn't like 3.
Why didn't you like it, Luke? Tell us more.
I think it's not just the reveal. I just feel like they really could have done a lot more with this concept, and they could have, instead of just focusing on the one that was murdering them, really focusing on what happens after, because they show a stinger for potentially the way that the timeline's going to go later.
Wait, do they?
Well, they show he finds Captain America frozen.
Oh, okay.
And Captain Marvel comes down, and part of me was just thinking honestly, I kind of want to see what the Avengers in this timeline would have been like, because
who would be on that lineup?
So I think the murder mystery part is kind of a neat idea for a story, but I don't feel like they really set it up properly to where it feels satisfying when they reveal who it is. Because, like Aaron kind of said, there's not really a lot of clues that points to it being Hank Pym in the beginning, besides just shit's not working the way it's supposed to. But the same thing is that his motivation is something that we never would have guessed, because it doesn't happen in the regular movies. And the premise for these what ifs is literally just one choice in time that changes everything. But this was 2 choices technically. They just didn't.
Well, no, it wasn't even a choice. It was just the first one was just an event. But I like the fact that it was based off of choices, and I feel like the third episode kind of broke from that mold. What was the event that led her to even join SHIELD in the first place? That's what I would have wanted to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably her mom disappearing in the 60s.
Right, yeah. And I mean, I think they even said that like Fury kind of sold to her, you could be like your mom. And but again, it's literally a thing of that didn't happen before. How was I supposed to know that that happened in this universe? Like
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I'm thinking of it from the perspective of Blue's Clues, where I can fucking figure out what's
Blue's
going on
Clues.
before I get to the end. Right?
Breadcrumbs.
If Blue's Clues could fucking do that, I feel like What If should have been able to do that too.
Like that. That's make it's more complex than VeggieTales.
I would argue
Shout out
it's
to
Pow,
VeggieTales.
pow, 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 pow.
Shout out to
fucking
VeggieTales.
yeah. I know episode 3 sucked. I hated it. Episode 4 was really cool though.
Yeah,
Episode
I
4
really
was
like the visuals in it.
awesome.
It was really great.
Benedict's voice acting was very good, which makes sense because he already has a solid frame of reference. Which like
Which one? Let me ask you guys. Which one did you find more believable? Hank Pym killing the Avengers because he lost everything, or Doctor Strange going crazy with magic because he lost Christine?
Hank is that fucking petty to do it, but I think they sold
believe he
it
would.
better with Doctor Strange. Like, yeah, Hank is a petty motherfucker. The first time we saw him, he punched somebody in the face. So he's like, it's not out of character for him to do some shit like that. It's just like it's just Doctor Strange's is better fleshed out and explored. Like, I wouldn't put it past Hank to do. I wouldn't put it past Hank to kill him now. But like Hank's an asshole, but you know, Strange, you feel more for Strange.
Yeah, Strange, I feel is just like a better. It's a very better like paced character thing, and I think part of that really is just because like Doctor Strange is the only hero that shows up in that. Like it's literally all about him. It's not like showing ramifications for a moment in time. It's exploring what would have happened if he was arrogant about someone that he cared about, right?
But I think it also felt true to his character because they did say he's like obsessed with fixing things. You know, that aligns with him. You know, I feel like a lot. Not to detour too much, but I feel like that's why it's kind of believable what we see him do in the Doctor Strange or in the Spider-Man trailer, because he's a dude who's like his ego makes him think he has to fix it. So
I feel like there's a discussion whenever we do get to that trailer because
there's definitely a discussion. I have thoughts.
I was just gonna say I might have to be that guy that isn't super happy about the movie that we're getting, but there is stuff
to get to that in a sec.
Discuss with it. But
yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, the Doctor Strange one was really cool. It had really cool visuals, and it was just super focused on just him. So it was just a really good character story, which I liked a lot. And that was way different than like the other stuff that came before. Yeah,
because I feel like the Captain Carter one, even though it was focused on her, is more about the events and how they were different from the film rather than her as a person.
Yeah. And I mean, it was the pilot, so like I guess that was kind of the thing that they wanted to sell first. Like anything can happen, but the Doctor Strange one really was just like, this is Doctor Strange at a very low point in his life and a decision that he might have made.
He was down bad, down supreme.
Bro, when he's like in the shit and then like he sees the Watcher, I'm like, what did you say? Like he's talking to this thing.
Hello?
Like,
I did love
there?
that.
He communicates? What?
I thought that was really cool. If anyone like could see the Watcher, I was glad it was Strange. I hope my hope
that makes sense.
Yeah, my hope is that doesn't happen again because it gives that story like an extra level of like.
They already showed that the Watcher's gonna be involved in the later episodes.
Damn.
I mean, if it's like one more time in the finale, I'm okay with it.
Well, how do you feel? Well, we see that this Doctor Strange, clearly he's not dead. He's just in his own little small pocket reality, it seems like.
Yeah.
But we see. Did you guys watch the second trailer for What If?
There's a second trailer for it?
Or like it was one of the trailers. All right, this is like a minor spoiler because like it's a small moment. We don't know the context of it. But we see a small shot of this changed strange, or I don't know, what should we call him? Like, he's not evil.
Doctor changed.
Doctor deranged. Doctor
Doctor
changed.
deranged strange.
Dr. Dre.
Deranged strange. We see him interacting with Captain Carter. So just
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, so this isn't the last time we're going to see either of them, and I don't think both of them are in the same universe.
Well, I remember the rumors of Guardians of the Multiverse being a thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, honestly, part of me was even wondering, is like, oh, is he gonna be in the Doctor Strange movie? Like, are we just gonna briefly see this dark Strange? But I don't know. It was just a really good episode. I liked it a lot in terms of like just a very character specific story.
The voice direction was better here. The animation one, I think, was very, very creative in a lot of spots. Like seeing all the
I
different
felt like
creatures.
If I had to nitpick,
Magic Beetle was neat. I liked him.
I felt like what's his name?
I like him. He's cool.
The design for Benedict Cumberbatch was like spot on, but I felt like Rachel McAdams was kind of questionable.
She just looked like a white woman. But I mean, to be fair, that's kind of how Rachel McAdams looks.
Part of me was actually kind of wondering if that was just a different character, because I didn't actually remember Rachel McAdams in that movie.
Yeah, because that's how much of an impact Christine left on the original movie.
Dude, I have to simp. I'm a simp lord.
Yeah. Rachel McAdams?
What?
Yeah.
Regina George? Really? That's who we're stepping out on, huh?
The one thing that did
kind of the hill we're dying on, Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, Regina George. That's the hill we're dying on.
Before we move on, I just actually want to say, it started sad, but when the montage like kept going on of her like just continuously dying. Like they go into a pizza shop and a fucking burglar comes in with a gun. I was like, okay, come on.
What a little much.
When she just died at the party, I'm like, bro, I'm like at that point, you just gotta go. Like, there's no way.
You just
have
to
clearly this has to happen.
It's like when her fucking building burned down, I was like, all right, I would have fucking given up. Like I would have been pissed off.
I love how in the news they pointed out it's like also this specific doctor died amongst like the tens of hundreds.
It's like
also a white woman died. Her name was Christine. She was a doctor. I mean, do we have anything else to say about What If 3 and 4? Like we don't.
No, but I think that if someone needs to re-edit the episode 2 and put the Space Jam theme, because that thing is literally the Michael Jordan of that episode. He can do no wrong, and everybody loves him.
That's fair.
But it's Chadwick. It's still like.
Like this is definitely competing with Star Panther for my favorite. I am very curious to see.
He's supposed to come back. Chadwick's supposed to be in later episodes, though. No.
No, that's what I heard. He's supposed to, I think, have 3 more like appearances.
Speaking of Black Panther, is anybody playing the Avengers expansion? Because I'm not.
Yeah, they put the movie suit in finally for Black Panther.
They picked the wrong suit. It's the one that doesn't look as cool.
Which one? The one from his movie?
Yeah, not the Civil War one has the better helmet, but the Solo movie has the better body.
The Civil War one was pretty cool. I liked it.
I think the Civil War
he looked scary, and then in the second one he just looked like a cat. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
The second what?
Scare me.
Oh yeah. No, he didn't look good.
Cats don't scare me, but you know what scares me?
The Sherlockalypse?
No, Sony putting multiple villains in one movie. Let's talk about Spider-Man No Way Home's trailer.
Nice. I have mixed feelings about this movie.
But you loved it in the reaction.
Oh, I do. Here's the thing about this movie. I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for it. I want to see these 3 Spider-Man interact. That being said, I don't think it'll be narratively satisfying to watch Tom Holland's Peter Parker go against these past villains because there's no connection to them. But
what if he just fights his own villains? What if everybody fights there too?
That would feel cheap to me as well.
Everybody gets 2. You fight your own villains. Don't interact with the other one.
So I just rewatched the original Spider-Man trilogy with my sister because she's never seen a single Spider-Man movie, and also just in preparation for No Way Home. And watching Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2 and seeing him back, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I think, like, in concept, it's cool to see Doc Ock, this version of Doc Ock in another movie, but, like, he died a hero. He died a good guy. And the only way, literally the only way that I could see him agreeing to be a villain for this movie is if whoever is behind this, or like whoever's collecting the Fantastic Four, promises that he can, if he does this, if he kills Spider-Man, he can have a life where his wife didn't die, and that's how they convince him to kill Spider-Man, because that was like his world.
Spider-Man 2, he's like, I will not die a monster or something.
Yeah, but I'm like, I can get my woman back. All right, I'll do some shit. I'm Sandman.
Oh yeah, Thomas Hayden Church with his pink
if
ass lips.
If they threaten his daughter, I feel like if they threaten his daughter, they can get him to do some bad shit too. Okay, but Green Goblin will just do it for pennies. He'll just do some bad shit just because he can.
I do not want that fucking goblin back. Leave that motherfucker.
Wait, which goblin? The AIDS goblin from Tasman?
Both. I don't care. I don't want him here. God damn it.
All I want for them to do a motion capture. Willem Dafoe looking like a comic accurate Green Goblin. His face already looks like the fucking Green Goblin.
Because like that's just his face, bro. Just paint it green. Like,
okay, let me
just do some.
Go ahead, Luke.
Let me ask a quick question. So it's Dr. Octopus, it's Green Gobbo, it's Sandman, it's Electronitis, it's Lizard,
potentially,
and the Rhino, that Mechazoid.
It could be the Birdman, it could be the Scorpion Man, it could be the Mystery Man. John Jacob Gyllenhaal Smith.
All right, so let me ask this: why does Raimi's Spider-Man get 3 villains in this movie, and all the other ones only get 2?
Or they suck.
Fuck you, nostalgia.
They're not even my favorite Spider-Man movies. Like, I don't know. Look, I'm an Andrew Garfield fan. I get shafted in this too. Okay, how do you think I feel?
It just feels weird because Doc Ock and Sandman are like good guys by the end of those movies. It feels like
I don't know, because people won't let Spider-Man 2 go for some reason.
It just feels like a step back character-wise if they do like, all right, like you get to have a life with your wife if you pick up this knife.
I think the problem is that
Krusty the Clown recruiting them.
And then he says, I gotta do it, Peter. And then he does his stuff. Part of me just feels like this movie is literally just going to be all of these villains are going to say the fucking lines from the movies, and then we're gonna clap that they're saying the lines from the movies.
That was the report.
He said, "Hey, he's green." Yes,
green. Willem Dafoe's gonna come up. He's gonna go, "Are you in or are you out?" And he's gonna.
You're the one who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind.
Now,
then Tom Holland's gonna. Holland's gonna say, "Well, that's stupid."
Yeah,
who would say that? That's a dumb thing to say. And then all the old men are gonna go, "Boo! Me no like new thing. He said a mean about my old thing."
I also just feel bad for Andrew Garfield. He feels like a fucking third wheel in this. Like everyone only cares about the Raimi villains. Nobody cares about.
I care about Andrew Garfield. He's my favorite Spider-Man.
So far, yeah, me too. Like, I feel like here's the thing. I feel like if Tom Holland's Spider-Man was, if they stopped leaning on the innocent card and like making him a kid, and they actually made him like Spider-Man, I think he would be my favorite. Like,
so
I feel like my
Tom
favorite.
Can act. Tom's good. Tom's great. I think he's like the best. He's just not my favorite.
Listen, hold on.
Writing standpoint,
y'all have me mistaken, right? Y'all both said just immediately Andrew Garfield's the better Spider-Man. I was talking about his villains. Do you remember anything about
Electro?
Of course I remember Electro.
Yeah, that yak though. that fixed electricity.
Yeah, how
gap.
he fell into a tank of electric eels, got shot.
Light.
He was the Riddler from Batman Forever.
I haven't seen the movie in a really long time. Was Lizard's plan literally just to turn New York into Lizard?
Yes, because that's what he does.
Yes, it was. Didn't make the most sense.
Nigga,
It was weird because it like it's
Spider-Man. Like that's not out of pocket for the Lizard to do. Like, yeah, he
No,
wants fucking lizard people.
I
it's
understand
like,
that, but it was like only 10
It
people.
was initially I want to
No.
heal the disabled,
Hang
but then
on.
turn them into by turning everyone into lizards. It's like, whoa, buddy, I think we missed some steps here.
No, I mean in the context of the movie, think about it. Only like 10 people turn into lizards, and they only turn into lizards for like 30 minutes.
We don't talk about it.
I mean, if somebody who really likes lizards, I don't see an issue with his plan. But I guess it's not good for the greater port of New York. Like he had that one rat lizard in the box that ate the other rat.
What was Electro's thing that Spider-Man didn't like say happy birthday or something?
He was down bad for the Spider-Man, and then he like got his ego hurt because he thought people were booing him.
He's like, my eyes and ears. He said he liked me. What was the line when he went up against BJ Novak? He said like, "You're a Leo, Spider-Man's a Capricorn." I'm sorry, that's funny. That's fucking funny.
You know in Spider-Man 1 when he's Peter tells that wrestler, "That's a cute outfit. Did your husband make it for you?" Like that line could never fly today in a movie.
We know.
How did Raimi get away with
gay friends? We know it wouldn't fly today.
It's 2000.
It's very
it's
mean.
2001. Very 2000s. There's certain things in the Invincible comic that don't fly today. For sure.
No, they don't. There's a lot of shit in the Invincible comics that wouldn't fly today. That's why they're writing it. That's why Kirkman's fixing it.
I also find it weird that MCU Spider-Man just. So I think this probably is a Sony problem as well, but like MCU Spider-Man just literally cannot have a movie without having to be supported by another character.
Grown man.
I think that's why I'm excited for them to take him out of the MCU, because you'll still get like the feeling of like he's part of an extended universe without the interruptions, like without the cripple or the crutch of having to use them. But that being said, if you are going to use a crutch for Peter Parker in a movie, I don't think Doctor Strange is a bad one. I think I like the team up of Doctor Strange and Peter together.
It's a cool idea for sure.
The team up I always wanted that always made the most sense to me is like, Tony Stark's cool. Doctor Strange is cool. Why has he never, outside of that one time in the comics, why doesn't he go to fucking Wakanda? They're the most technically advanced nation on the fucking planet. Why would a country filled with nothing but fantastic science and beautiful black women? I'm gone tomorrow. Like, fuck this. Fuck you, Tony. I'm going with the cat man who beat everyone's ass.
He's like
in that apartment.
He's
the airplane.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just weird.
I'm going with the cat man.
His friend Abraham was from Wakanda.
I feel like a lot of the stuff with the MCU Spider-Man, including this one, is literally just, I feel like Sony is just, they feel like really Sony decisions, and I think part of it is that because it's like it starts off very small. He's just on like Manhattan like streets, right? Mm. The second movie is, I'm going to Paris and I'm gonna fight like this big drone battle across.
First one we're going too small. Second one we're going way too big.
And then the third one is like, oh, but there's other Spider-Man in the multiverse.
What if the big comes to my home? See, that's what it is, Luke. First you're small, then you're big, then you take big to the small.
Well, I'm just like, what the fuck do you do after this? Like, what are you supposed to do?
I mean, go to college.
Where's all the street level villains like Hammerhead and Kingpin and all that?
He hung them from a street lamp. They're dead.
I think
Daredevil will handle them.
Yeah, I was one more thing just before I hand the mic back to Aaron because he's got something big. But I feel I'm just kind of disappointed as well. This just means like MCU is just like, all right, there's no Dr. Octopus or Green Goblin in our universe.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
No, they might still do Osborn. I'm guessing if they do a Goblin, it'll be Hobgoblin.
Wait, Ned?
Now we'll never get my pick for Doc, which kind of bums me out. But I think Alfred Lehman is still good.
Yeah,
I mean we won't get mine either. Terrence Howard.
For Doc Ock?
No, for Goblin.
What?
No one can tell me Terrence Howard would not make a fucking
Oh, Tyler
fantastic
Perry.
Norman Osborn.
Tyler Perry.
Here's the thing. Tyler Perry can act.
Sure.
Tyler Perry can act very well. And it's
Dude,
when he's
Gone
not
Girl,
doing his
he was
own
amazing.
writing.
All right, listen.
was-
you know who my pick for Doc Ock would have been?
Will Smith.
Josh Gad. Josh Gad. For Doc
Oh
Ock.
my God. Yes, that's a great pick. Wow. Especially if you do like Superior. I can see Josh Gad wanting to switch bodies with Tom Holland.
No, who could be Doc Ock like from the Spider-Man game, but in live action? Like who visually looks like him?
Wait, which Spider-Man game? The PS1, the PS2?
Oh, the
Web of
recent one,
Shadows?
2018.
Jason Alexander.
Yeah. That's wow.
Was
That's
he bald? Was they
God
like
damn it, Luke,
bald?
that's perfect.
They look
It's
exactly the
Jason
same.
Alexander with arms.
He fucking freaks out while playing on his Xbox. He goes, "Damn it!"
He's in a Call of Duty lobby, starts learning some gamer words.
But
No, Luke, to your point, yeah, this is exactly a Sony decision because we know from their emails they've been planning this shit for almost a decade. Because remember,
Spider-Man
versus the Amazing Spider-Man, and also Drew Goddard's Sinister Six movie. So now they finally get to. They knew that Into the Spider-Verse was a success. They're like, we get to have our cake and eat it too. Like, you easy $2 billion. You fucking okay, fine. Couldn't let it die. Fine,
Yeah.
fuck it, whatever.
I think the thing that worried me in the trailer is the fact that the trailer was 3 minutes long and it felt like two different movies were happening.
yeah,
The first one felt like the first half
Yeah.
was like the consequences, and the second half was like, oops, all fucking wacky, weird multiverse adventures. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I really hope it feels more coherent than that. Like, I really hope there's like a theme and like a lesson that Peter has to learn, and it really feels like a whole complete thing. Now, the thing that would justify having these other Spider-Mans in here that would be narratively satisfying is if he, like, I don't know if getting the stamp of approval is like the right term, but like, I don't know. I feel like, no, you can't even do that because like he's already proven himself twice that he's a capable hero. Like that was like the main thing in
the
both
point.
films. Like you can't do it a
That
third
he's a
time.
man. He can handle it himself.
he proved he doesn't need to be like Iron Man, and then proceeds to be exactly like Iron Man.
Well, listening to the Spider-Man music that he would do.
Yeah, exactly. It's
And to be fair,
powerful.
I'd probably listen to that music too when I'm like,
But
suits and shit.
yeah, but kind of like I agree with Aaron. It's very. It feels
It's going to be a hard balance.
It feels really all over the place, and it definitely feels like the movie is banking on people wanting to see these characters again rather than a story that is possibly satisfying.
Right. Especially for like a trilogy. My thing is, at least as far as the marketing goes, I don't want to see the other Spider-Men. Here's the thing. If they show the villains, that's okay. I don't want that. I legitimately want, even, or if there's like Daredevil or anything, I want them to be like pleasant surprise. Like I'm still like, yeah, we've had all these fucking leaks. I still don't believe they're in it. As far as I'm concerned, this is Tom fighting 6 niggas. It's a black video. Like it's
Black.
Yeah, it's just Tom fighting, I guess, 6 other big thunderous bitches, and that's it. Any other words on the Spider of Mans, the Man of Spiders?
I hope it's good. I think regardless of if it's good or not, I think if we do get to see all 3 Spider-Man on screen together interacting, I'm gonna cry. I think it's good enough.
I'm gonna shit my panty draws. I don't know what I'm gonna
bust
do.
a tear real quick. I think that's what's gonna happen.
You're gonna bust a what?
The
I'm gonna bust a tear.
nut. It's gonna. Oh Lord, I'm about to bust. Okay, so we can move on to the last 2 topics. Pretty short. I wish Luke was here for one of these, but had to piece all of the.
Oh, he left? When did he leave?
He left like an hour ago.
He just left.
Oh, well, he didn't even say bye, did he?
He didn't get a chance to. I'll put his socials in there. We won't forget about the boy. Luke, you need to tell us what your thoughts are on what. Well, he can't hear us. He's not here. But I mean, it's just some new pictures we got for some upcoming projects. We have our first live action images for the Netflix version of Cowboy Bebop, and I think it looks pretty neat. Looks cool.
Yeah, I'm not super versed in Cowboy Bebop, but I thought the images
Surprisingly, neither am I. So
it looks accurate to the anime, so that was pretty cool. I
yeah,
mean, it
I
intrigued
don't.
me.
Yeah, I mean, the cast looks pretty much like the anime characters. Now I'll have to go back and watch the original, even though I'm already in the middle of Yu Yu Hakusho. Thanks for that. I'm getting bullied by Ebes. I mean, the corgi looks like the corgi. Faye looks more really. Apparently, people are complaining about Faye's outfit. I'm like, look, you fucking nerds.
Her outfit
Like,
sucks.
her outfit looks perfectly fine.
It's so impractical, dude. The comic or the cartoon one was better.
Sure, believe
Alright.
what you want. I mean, Doncho looks good. It's also good. Mustafa Shakir
Also,
looks
isn't she
very
supposed to
good.
be Asian in the cartoon too?
I mean, did they say? I mean, Daniela Pineda.
They whitewashed her.
I mean, she's not white. She's Hispanic. She might be Asian. I don't know. What is it? I do remember her from like Jurassic World. I mean, she seems cool.
Oh, she ruined that movie, by the way.
She's Mexican.
Jurassic World. She was like, oh god, that one scene was so bad.
I mean, the movie just sucked, anyways. But I don't know. I'm optimistic. I'll watch the original and then.
It's on
give it a
Hulu,
chance.
I think the anime right now.
Yeah, it is. No, but I think it looks good. Then we also
Is that this month? It's coming out, right?
I don't think so.
September, or was it? Oh no,
November 19th.
November. Okay.
It's in 2 months. And then we have our first picks at Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. And again, they look fine. I mean, look like the characters for the most part. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
For Jill,
like I can't really tell. The photos they used are not good pictures. I gotta say that.
They're all dark and everything.
They're like, well, not only are they dark, they're like the second one is half blurry, and it's very grainy, and you can't like zoom in on it. So I mean, I don't know. I'll give it a chance.
Well, it's kind of weird that Chris, Claire, and Leon all have basically their video game accurate outfits, but Jill looks nothing like her outfit.
I mean, other than wearing blue.
Yeah.
They're trying to. Which John Kamen kind of got some muscle definition going. She must have bulked up. And I know I can tell Robbie Amell did. Which good on him because, this is built like a fucking Mack truck. I don't know, Aaron, do you have any thoughts on Resident Evil images? Resident images? We got a picture of Lisa Trevor, she looks like an absolute fucking demon. So, got that part right.
Yeah, I'm not super versed in Resident Evil, but I think I need a trailer before I can really give expansive thoughts on it. But I'm like, yeah, the images looked cool that I saw. I saw one of them was like, it wasn't a still of a person, but it was like a screenshot of like one of the monsters or something. And I thought that looked kind of, it looks creepy. What'd you say?
Yeah, Lisa Trevor is apparently her name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks creepy. So I'm like, yeah, I'm with it. Let's just see a trailer to really give us the glimpse of the tone and everything.
I want a trailer for this and Cowboy Bebop. That's really going to be what sells my judgment. Cowboy Bebop, I know, has a lot of the original like team behind it, working behind the scenes, so that makes me a little bit more optimistic. Which is Resident Evil, which is a lot of he's not a first time director, but he's pretty early in his career. So that one, I mean, he
only did 47 meters down and The Strangers 2, which was not good.
Yeah, so He did 2 horrors previous, but he said that he's trying to draw from some of the originals and some of the remakes. So I'm like, okay, so he's played the games. It's a good starting point, I guess. And Jill, Leon, and Chris look pretty spot on. Not Jill. Who was I talking about? I guess Albert. Albert's gonna look like Albert.
But Claire doesn't even have her ponytail. Like that's a signature thing.
And she can always put it back.
Hair
A
down.
ponytail is an easy thing to achieve. I'm curious to see how everybody is gonna do in this. But
The weird
No, I'm
thing
gonna
about
say-
Resident Evil is that they're developing a lot of different projects that are not really like connecting to each other. Like they're all just separate.
yeah, like they had a show that just came out, which was very strange, and I say that with like someone who hasn't really played it. Like I know Resident Evil is goofy, but this didn't know what they were like on about with this. I'm like, what does this have to do with? Okay, because it's not connected to like 7 or 8. It's like a midquel series about like a bunch of veterans that got infected and political aspects. Like it's a weird show. It's not bad, but I don't know if I'd call it good. I don't know. And I didn't know if I mean y'all. It's short. It's only 6 episodes, and it flies by.
They got that Wesker show coming with Lance
About his
Reddick.
daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
People are really mad about that. Remember that casting?
No, I completely forgot about it. Is that no, that's a series, isn't it?
Yeah, that's supposed to be on Netflix. It's coming out I think next year because since they just announced the cast, I'm guessing they haven't shot it yet, so.
Oh, that's right. That's the one that Andrew Dabb is working on.
Yeah.
8-hour-long episodes. Yeah, the one with the 2 timelines, Jade and Billy Wesker. I didn't know they casted Lance Reddick for that.
Yeah, people are really mad. Like I mean, I get why people are mad, but I think if you're gonna cast somebody,
he's a great actor.
Yeah, like if you're gonna go out of the box and like get somebody that doesn't look like him, like I mean, he's a great actor. He has that presence. I think
he could sell it perfectly fine. Like he's talented enough to portray Wesker. Which, to be fair, the Wesker that they also have for this separate one, if they at least have alternatives. You have a different Wesker if you want. Oh wow, I didn't even know they posted pictures of the cast. There's gonna be certainly a watch. One of these is gonna do well, and the other one is gonna flop, and I am not sure which one is gonna be.
I think I should just accept that I'll probably never get a good Resident Evil movie or show.
Yep. The movie is looking to be okay. Like it's Resident Evil. It's a low bar. So like all it has to do is be decently intimidating with maybe an occasional joke or two. So I'd imagine it's not the highest of bars to clear. It never has been. I just want to know what's up with my damn Devil May Cry.
Also, one thing I forgot to mention, early on with the movie casting, there was a rumor that Ada was going to be in the movie too, but they never cast her, so I don't know, I guess they cut her out of the script or something.
Was Ada in 2?
She was in Resident Evil 2, yeah, the remake one.
Okay. Was she in the original 2 or just the remake?
I'm not sure. Maybe she was something they added, but I feel like that could have been cool to have her in there too.
Yeah, I'm imagining they're probably holding out for a sequel, so I don't think they need Ada. If you're like doing a story, it's a combination of RE1 and 2. I don't think you need to include Ada until she kind of becomes relevant.
Yeah.
So they can save it for when they start adapting 3.
But what's Aaron's thoughts on Resident Evil?
I don't care.
Oh.
No, are you gonna check out the movie?
Yeah, probably. I need to see the trailer. I think I played like one of the Resident Evil games, maybe two of them. Yeah, it's an interesting franchise. I just think that video games movies traditionally haven't been great. The images didn't get me super excited. I just want to see a good, fun movie from this. And once the trailer comes out, I'll. You say that's weird?
I said agreed.
Oh yeah,
The Sonic movie was
that's
good.
weird.
Though.
You want to see a fun movie? That's gross.
You want to see
yeah.
a fun movie? Ew, bitch.
Ew, shit yourself.
That'd be so fucking rude. Yeah. You want to see a good movie? Ew, kill yourself. Die immediately. It's like, oh, damn. I didn't know you felt like that.
Actually, this is kind of off topic, but the one video game movie that I'm really, really interested to see how they're going to pull off is the upcoming Mario animated movie from Illumination.
I completely forgot about
really good.
Yeah,
I think that one
yeah. That's with that company. That's a hard one to kind of mess up.
Yeah.
No, it's
Illumination plus. Yeah, I mean, Super Mario Brothers. They're already kind of animated. Like, you really got to try hard to fuck that up.
I mean, at worst, it'll be like. I mean, at worst, it'll be boring.
Yeah, exactly.
Minions was good though.
Watch the Minions movie?
Okay.
Yeah.
What somebody did. It'd be me.
Yep. I believe you, Nick.
We'll trust your judgment on that one. That said, I think this is a good place to cut the show. Aaron, do we want to do questions?
Sure. I'm down.
Let me pull them up real quick. We had some questions from, I believe, Waru.
I love how Waru has followed us through every incarnation of the podcast we've done together.
He's a loyal presence and a good friend.
You know who I miss? LMAO like a cow. Remember him?
I actually vaguely do.
He used to comment on every show too.
Yeah, that's dedication right now. Right now, that's dedication back then. Really proof that I'm running on fumes. What happens when you have seen YouTube tabs open at once?
You have too many porn tabs open.
It's just YouTube and IMDb.
Your ManyVids account.
Me pay for porn? I'm poor, sir. I can't afford to do that. Sex work is work.
Preach.
Like, look.
So speaking of that, I find it hilarious how fast OnlyFans went back on their thing.
Oh yeah, I found it.
Was it only like a day?
It was like 4 days.
Okay.
For it came, yeah. OnlyFans reversed their decision on adult content. I'm like, yeah, them subs started dropping, didn't it? Stock started to fall. Your investor said, "What the fuck did you do?"
Like, why would you do that? Nobody asked you for that.
I mean, they did it so they could be able to get more investments from credit card companies, and that it still backfired. It failed either way. It was a lose-lose situation. But it's like, Pornhub had that happen, and they went through that purge, and they're still the biggest company when it comes to like mass producing porn. So it's whatever. Anyways, I found his questions. We got two. His first one is, what video games are you guys currently playing / excited about this year? Been playing Neo: The World Ends With You, and it's been fun. I plan on getting Sonic Colors Ultimate because never played the original back on the Wii, and I'm still a little apprehensive on the Guardians game. Sonic Colors is a fantastic game. I haven't played the Neo: The World Ends With You. I've been playing Genshin Impact, honestly, and Marvel Future Revolution if it doesn't crash on my phone. So that's mostly what I've been doing. And I'm revisiting. I have the time. I want to go through and finally beat Shin Megami Tensei 3. It's like it can be a time commitment because it's an RPG. But what are y'all playing? I'm not getting Guardians. I know that. unless it's on like a sale or some shit, or like double packed with Avengers. And I
Uh,
don't really care about that game.
in terms of new games, I've been playing that Aliens Fireteam Elite a lot. It just came out. It's actually really good. I was surprised. Like, I was kind of apprehensive about it because the trailers and stuff, but it's pretty fun. Definitely a game that you want to play with people though. Like, there is a bot mode where you can play through the whole story with like AI partners, but it's a lot more fun with people. And then besides that, I've actually got back into some of the old Pokemon games through ROMs randomly. So
How about you, Aaron? What are you getting into?
Oh, the pussy. No, I'm just kidding.
My man. That's right. That's what you gotta do.
She.
Gotta
what am I
get that
getting
sweet like Candyman.
into? Candyman, what they call him. I'm gonna get that Candyman.
That might be the episode title. I'm gonna give her that candy, man.
Candyverse.
The
What are you
Candyverse.
playing?
Oh man, I got back.
Playing with these toes and playing with these hoes.
Playing with the toes and the hose. I got back on Rocket League for a little bit. Just, dabbling, dabbling. Right. Mainly been watching the Spider-Man movies and like working on some projects. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Working on poetry, working on music. Yeah, that's been the gist of what's going on with me at the
The
moment.
poolside.
No,
The pool
no new
side,
games?
yes, my open mic. I'm thinking about that Guardians game, and I've been considering re-downloading Avengers so I can play the expansions. I still have yet to play either of the Hawkeye ones.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't played the Hawkeye ones or the Black Panther ones, so I'm thinking about maybe doing that.
Mm.
But other than that,
Good.
nothing new. Yeah, I hope so. I hope they are.
Yeah, so you'll have to tell me how that Guardians game is, and I'll probably have to pick up Avengers on the sale. I'm still waiting for them to finally fix Cyberpunk. God knows when that happens. That's when I'll do my replay.
Also, while we were talking, a fly flew into my room, and I had a Febreze bottle and a cup, right? And so it landed on the Febreze bottle, and then I just slowly inched the cup towards the Febreze bottle and put it on top. And then I shook up the cup in the Febreze bottle and I killed the fly.
Yeah,
Jesus
it's like
Christ.
torture.
Suffocated it to death.
No, I ping ponged it to death.
God damn. Ping pong killer.
The ping pong killer. Ping
Back
pong man.
and forth like a ping and a pong. Yeah, one other question. He said, what recent new comics are you or anyone else have been interested in? It's been months since I bought a comic and I got Spider-Man Life Story. It was great. It is a good book. So far I've been planning on trade buying Nightwing and Robin. I have I literally have like my work bag is filled with comics that I need to read. Right now I'm trying to keep the copy of all of the new Milestone books because they're all miniseries. And I need to finish Venom because that run is done. I need to catch up on Miss Marvel, need to catch up on Miles Morales, and I need to catch up on Immortal Hulk. Those are the four like main things. And there's a couple side stuff I check out every now and then, like Children of the Atom. Or I need to one of these days maybe I'll take a look back and see what is going on with Aaron's run on X-Men. Not Aaron, whoever's doing X-Men right now, because I liked what it started with, but I fell off around issue 4 or 5. Excalibur was good though. I was reading it, but are y'all in track of any books or anything? Last thing I really read through was Invincible.
Not at the moment. I want to hop back on Miles's book. I've been on and off with that book since it first came out, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's just been a minute since I've been to the comic book shop. But obviously, I love comic books, and I miss that medium in that form, and I think that's definitely a good alternate habit and hobby to being on your phone for long periods of time. So yeah, thank you, question asker. I may just start hopping back into comics to to curb my phone addiction.
Yeah, in terms of comics, for me, I haven't really read any new things in a while. Probably since, oh man, like 2019. It's the last like new comic I read, but I have like a huge back reading log of like tons of trade paperbacks. I think probably what I'll get to next though is the Eternals. I have the Eternals Neil Gaiman run and the Daniel Acuna run from 2008. So like the older ones. I actually have the paperbacks of those, so I kind of want to read those before the movie.
Be interesting. You have to let us know how that is.
Yeah. Most definitely, my guy.
But
All right. Yeah, so if you want to ask us questions, you can ask us questions with the hashtag AskAce, and we will do our best to knock your water bottle.
what was that?
The water bottle falling down. We'll do our best to answer them live on the show. But with that being said, I've been your host, Will, aka Will the Greatest. If you're looking for me, you can find me on my YouTube and Instagram, both.
What's your OnlyFans?
I don't have one yet. Trust me, when
Yet.
that shit starts, y'all be on the lookout. I'll be fucking hot and bopping in these streets, making them OF dollars, making them MV dollars, making them PH dollars. Yeah. Aaron, where can people find you at?
You can find me on the Instagram at the real Aaron Alexander.
Nick, where can people find you at?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and at my own YouTube channel at Who's Nick.
And if you're looking for our boy Luke, you can find him on Twitter at Luke Alfonso VA. I'm gonna add everybody's stuff to the details. But with that being said, it's gonna be the end of our show. Don't forget to like and comment and follow the show and rate the show highly. And share it with your friends. Let the people know about the show.
But not with your parents.
And maybe not with
Never
your
with your parents.
Share it with your friends. Share it with your pets.
And your exes.
Share it with your exes. I don't care.
This is your message to reach out to your ex who you haven't spoken to in a long time. Like, yeah, you ended on bad terms, but like, go for it. They'll be receptive to it. Trust me. Trust me. They'll get a good laugh out of it. Show up to their house.
Tell them to listen to the podcast so they can find where their new boyfriend is or girlfriend. We don't discriminate.
They've gone through some things since you guys broke up. Like, be ready for some change.
Be ready for some change. You know why? Because a real nigga's coming around. All right. We'll see y'all next time.
See you.